Hello guys, and welcome to another MK Mobile Top 10 video. This time you're ranking the top 10 best characters in the game, in my subjective opinion. So in a way, this ranking is 100% biased and totally prejudiced, so if you basically disagree with me somewhere, it is absolutely fine. Also, it is worth mentioning that this ranking is all the way up to update 4.0, so if you're watching this video somewhere in the future, please be advised that there is a big probability that some of the characters that have been released meanwhile are not on the list. So without any further ado, let us start with number 10. Coming in at number 10 is MK11 Noob Cybot, one of the best characters in the game without any doubt, and one of the best, if not the best character for survival mode. If you have this guy at healthy fusion, basically he cannot die in survival mode. This is how great he is. And on top of that, the death mark is pretty useful again. No revenants, no revivals, nothing, they just die. It is absolutely mind-blowing. His only drawback is that he's not really the greatest boss killer, but despite that, he can be really useful as a support in many boss fights. Now, probably number 9 will come as a surprise, but it is occupied by MK11 Fujin. I still remember when I first played with this guy, I wasn't impressed, but now I definitely changed my mind. He's absolutely incredible, one of the best disablers in the game. At any fusion, the guy with one of the best, if not the best specialty in the game. It has stun, he can actually chain it and deal massive damage. And on top of that, his debuffs can't be resisted. Furthermore, even at Fusion 0, he's one of the best supports if you want to kill bosses. It is that simple. You just apply Hurricane, then bring any Raiden and any fusion and watch the boss health melts. So Fujin, definitely one of the best characters in the game, coming in at this video at number 9. Ranking at number 8 is Injustice 2 Raiden, excellent special 1, excellent special 2, and by the way they are both unblockable. On top of that, he doesn't really require block breaker, he can do fine without it. And on top of that, he can basically snare people by only being actively involved in the game. He doesn't have to do basic attacks, he doesn't have to do special attacks, he can snare them all. Injustice 2 Raiden, one of the best characters in the game, one of the best boss killers in the game. His only drawback is the fact that he's just an Elder God, so basically this makes him difficult to support. But after all, nobody is perfect. And the lucky number 7 goes for Strike Force Johnny Cage, one of the best fighters in the game, with one of the best passives in the game, to be honest. He's incredible in every single game mode, he is one of the best boss killers, he's one of the best characters to have in survival mode, and quite frankly, until 1 or 2 months ago, I was convinced that his only drawback is that he isn't really that great at Fusion 0. However, I saw certain footage, actually a few videos of him doing absolutely fine at Fusion 0 in survival mode Elder Tower, beating 15 battles with absolutely zero issues. So at the end of the day, Strike Force Johnny is one of the best characters in the game without any drawbacks whatsoever. The only thing that I can say against him is that his stats and his power generation, base power generation, is not really that great compared to other diamonds, but once again, nobody is perfect. Coming in at number 6 is the Joker. He has the best dot in the game, which works even if he's Fusion 0. He has basically the opportunity to break the enemy gear. Absolutely incredible. And he can drain power and basically have the strongest special to stun loop in the game, which turns him into one of the best boss killers in the game. Of course, he has to be maxed out in order to work, but even if he is not maxed out, he can work in so many difficult battles, in survival mode, in towers, everywhere. And one more thing, in case you didn't know, the Joker's dots can literally and critically hit. That's absolutely mind-blowing. And coming in at number 5 is classic Raiden, one of the best characters in the game. Excellent special 1, excellent special 2, both unblockable, excellent tagging attack, ability to join basically almost any class, he's just not Netherrealm. On top of that, basically he doesn't require block breaker, he is amazing in Fusion 0, and his only drawback is that he's not really great against bosses if you don't have any range that can team soak. But anyways, classic Raiden is definitely one of the best characters in the game. And I know at this point a lot of you are saying, what? Classic Kane 4th? Yeah, hear me out. First thing first is my subjective ranking. I rank these characters based on how much I value them personally. Now, I used to be one of the biggest supporters of Classic Kane. I was saying for years that he is the best character in the game because I really believe that, but this recently changed, and here is why. First thing first, they butchered his special too. He is unable even to do stun loop, which is unfortunate. So many characters can do stun loop, but Classic Kane cannot. That's really bad, because before the nerfs or the bugs, I don't know, he was one of the best, if not the best boss killer, thanks to the fact that his special deals insane amount of damage and he could chain it. Second thing, they nerfed the response time of any characters after attack, and this is particularly bad for Classic Kane, because none of his special attacks are unblockable, and that's really bad. He mainly relies on his special 2, so after attack you're forced to do either special 2 or special 1, and they both are going to get blocked anyways. That's really bad. And the third reason, his Cripple. Don't get me wrong, the Cripple is awesome. However, I unlocked Classic Kane probably 2-3 weeks ago on my beginner account, and I literally felt the necessity to use his Cripple in 2 or 3 fights. In any other fights, I was fine without it. I was controlling the game, so I didn't really require this Cripple. Once again, only in 2 or 3 games I really needed the Cripple. So it wasn't really that, let's call it that way, impactful for me. And let's face it, at Fusion 0, or let's say very low Fusion, Classic Kane is basically used for his supportive value. As a fighter, he does nothing. The game is like 2 versus 3. So if you don't require his Cripple, he's basically useless for you. And all the reasons combined make me reconsider his position. In my opinion, he's no longer the greatest character in the game. And coming in at number 3, Strike Force Scorpion, one of the best fighters in the game, one of the best supports in the game, one of the best characters in the game at Fusion 0. I believe that's enough, right? I have this guy on my beginner account and he is an absolute and total beast. I use him to do stun loops and he deals pretty good damage, especially if you have board stance. I use him to save my characters and I literally passed so many difficult fatal tower fights only because I had Strike Force Scorpion. So he's literally a lifesaver for your account, and he can work in any team and add tremendous value, because unlike Classic Kane, he can save your teammates, but he can do so much more. So in other words, Fusion 0 he can support, but he can also fight, which is really important. And now it is time to reveal the runner-up. Basically, once you know who the runner-up is, you automatically know who is the winner. So I was having this debate in my head for months. Quite frankly, those two characters who are first and second changed their positions in my head multiple times. At a certain point of time, I even considered putting them both at number 1. But then I unlocked Classic Raiden at Fusion 0. And then I compared Classic Raiden to MK11 Scorpion in Fusion 0, only to conclude that MK11 Scorpion is so much better on a beginner account, of course. Quite frankly, Classic Raiden is probably the best character in the game late game, when you have so many pieces of equipment unlocked and he's maxed out and stuff. But let's face it, end game doesn't really matter that much, because every character is good end game. If you have unlocked so many good equipments, any character can do. The most important thing, the place where I have to put the most weight, is the beginning of your journey, because this is when the magic happens. This is basically constitutes how fast you're going to grow your account. Late game is simply easy. That's the best way to describe it. So my heart is telling me Classic Raiden is the best character in the game, but my mind is telling me MK11 Scorpion is the best character in the game. So I'm going to vote with my mind. And coming in at number 2 is my top favorite character in the game, Classic Raiden. Excellent special 1, excellent special 2. He's really good at Fusion 0. He's one of the best supports. He's one of the best boss killers in the game, if not the best boss killer in the game. I literally have more than 20 videos on my channel one-shotting boss fights by only using Classic Raiden. This is how great he is. On top of that, if you have him at low fusion, he's one of the best supports if you want to kill bosses, as long as you have high fusion Raidens, which is not really that difficult to do. MK11 Raiden is one of the easiest characters to unlock and fuse in the game. However, as I mentioned before, in order for him to be the total beast he is in my videos on my main account, you need to have good tower equipment. It doesn't have to be maxed out epics, but at least if you maxed out, let's say, rares or high fusion rare stuff like this, if you have those things, then Classic Raiden, even at Fusion 0, is going to be a total beast. But enough for classic Raiden, because it is the time to focus on our champion. And the winner of the video and the best character in the game in my opinion is MK11 Scorpion. Let's face it, on my beginner account I beat 2 or 3 Fatal Towers only because I had MK11 Scorpion Fusion 0 once again. Fusion 0. I'm not convinced that I could have done them, those battles, those towers, if I didn't have this character. He's that strong at any fusion, but especially at Fusion 0. This is why he is so great. He can carry your account in Fatal Towers without any issues. Once again, at Fusion 0, this character knows no limits, no boundaries. He can beat almost any fight. Probably the only fight he cannot beat is a Regeneration MK11 Jade team, something like this. But apart from that, he can beat all. This is how great he is. And he isn't that strong only because he has unlimited chaining, but because he has Team Fire on tag and Fire on his combo ender. A lot of people basically underestimate this, but it's one of the most broken things in the game. He can do that even at Fusion 0. Alright guys, so this is going to be all from me today. See you next time. Take care.
Perfect.